Hello, my name is Nancy Welch, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to perform range of motion exercises as they relate to rehabilitative and restorative nursing. Today we're going to perform range of motion exercises. First, exercise the shoulder. Grasp the elbow with one hand and the wrist with the other. Raise the arms straight in front and over the head. This is called flexion. Your movement always needs to be smooth and slow. Next, bring the arm down. This is called extension. And now move the arm to the side and outward. This is called abduction. And now move the arm toward the body. This is called abduction. Hyperextension is when the arm is moved toward the back. Always move in a gentle, slow, smooth motion, and never pass the point of resistance or pain. Next, move the arm straight out to the side. This is called abduction. And now move the arm toward the body. This is adduction. Now we are going to move the arm into internal and external rotation. Internal rotation is where the elbow and the arm is bent downward, turning the shoulder inward. And external rotation is moving the forearm towards the head. Repeat flexion, extension, hyperextension, abduction, adduction, and internal and external rotation 5 times or as called for in the care plan. Grasp the person's wrist with one hand and the elbow with the other. Now bend the arm so that the same side touches the shoulder. This is called flexion. Now bring the arm straight down, straightening the elbow. This is called extension. Repeat flexion and extension 5 times or as called for in the care plan. Next, we're going to move the forearm into supination and pronation. Supination is moving the forearm so that the palm is upward. Pronation is moving the forearm so that the palm is downward. Repeat supination and pronation 5 times as called for in the care plan. Now we're going to be exercising the wrist. Hold the wrist with both of your hands. First, move the wrist downward. This is called extension. Now, straighten the hand. This is called extension. And now bend the hand back. This is hyperextension. Remember never to move the joint beyond the point of resistance or to the point of pain. Next, we're going to do radial flexion, which is moving the joint gently towards the towards the thumb. And next is ulnar flexion, which is moving the hand toward the outside. And now we're going to do abduction, which is moving the wrist gently toward the outside, and adduction, which is moving the wrist gently toward the midline. Again, repeat flexion, extension, hyperextension, radial flexion, ulnar flexion 5 times or as called for in the care plan. Next, we move on to the thumb. Hold the person's hand with one hand and the thumb with your other hand. Move the thumb out from the inner part of the index finger. This is called abduction. Next, move the thumb back toward the index finger. This is adduction. Touch in each finger gently with the thumb. This is called opposition. Opposition. Repeat this 5 times. Next, we're going to exercise the fingers. The fingers are flexed or curled and straightened. This is called flexion and extension. Then the fingers are spread apart. This is called abduction, and then brought back together. This is adduction. Again, always move the joints in a slow, steady, smooth motion and never pass the point of resistance or to the point of pain. And always assess the client for signs and symptoms of pain or discomfort. Moving on to the lower extremities, we're going to start at the hip. Place one hand under the knee and the other hand under the ankle for support. Raise the leg very slowly and gently. This is called flexion. Always move the joint in a gentle, slow, smooth motion. As we move the leg downward, this is called extension. So flexion and extension of the hip joint. Abduct the leg by moving it away from the body. Abduction and adduction is moving the leg toward the body. Next, we move to internal and external rotation. Internally rotate the hip joint by moving the leg toward the midline of the body. Externally rotate the hip joint by moving the leg to the outside. Again, this is internal and external rotation. Repeat these exercises 5 times or as called for in the care plan. The ankle is exercised next. Support the foot and ankle by placing one hand under the foot and the other hand under the ankle. Pull the foot toward the patient's body. This is called dorsiflexion. Again, the movement is gentle, never to the point of resistance or pain. Now point the toes. This is called plantar flexion. Repeat dorsiflexion and plantar flexion 5 times or as called for in the care plan. Next, we're going to perform inversion and eversion. Eversion is moving the foot so that the sole of the foot is pointed toward the outward. And next, inversion is moving the foot so that the sole is pointed toward the midline of the body. This is continuing to exercise the ankle. So for the ankle, again, we repeat dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, inversion, and eversion 5 times or as called for in the care plan. Next, we're going to move on to the toes. We are going to perform flexion and extension of the toes. Flexion is simply curling the toes downward, and extension is straightening the toes. Now we're going to pull the toes apart. This is abduction. And now we move the toes together. This is adduction. Repeat these exercises, flexion, extension, abduction, and adduction 5 times or as called for in the care plan. Now we exercise the knee. Support the knee by placing one hand under the knee and the other under the ankle. Bend the knee. This is called flexion. Again, straighten the knee. This is called extension. Be very careful to always use smooth, slow, gentle movements. Never push the joint past the position of pain or resistance. So this is flexion and extension. Next, we're going to perform hyperextension of the hip. Simply raise the whole hip joint up very gently. It probably will only go a small amount. Hyperextension of the hip. This concludes the range of motion exercises. Please refer to this video whenever necessary to refresh your skills.